was relatively shocked with the news that the ringgit reached an all-time low of 4.98. That said, however, just a couple of hours later, Bank Negara actually came out with a statement to rebut this particular statement or to rebut this particular data, which Google showed. So right now in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about uh, the background of why the US dollar has been decreasing or why the ringgit has been declining against the US dollar, number one. Number two, what actually affects the currency to move or to depreciate against the US dollar. And the third, why does it even matter to us? So to give a little bit of color on this particular subject, right? Let me take out my PC. I'll show you guys why does it matter, right? So I want to actually show you guys a chart, and we can see the 5 years, right? So in terms of 5 years, we can see that the ringgit has been depreciating quite a fair bit against the US dollar, right? And right now, we can actually see that it's actually ramping upwards this past couple of months. So with that, a lot of people have been talking about this particular subject, about the ringgit and the weakening against the ringgit. So the next question is, why, what actually impacts the ringgit to become weaker, or what impacts a currency to become stronger, right? So for this, allow me to give you an example of how a currency weakens or how a currency strengthens, right? So right now, let us assume in this example that there is a country, and this country is called M, right? And what happens is maybe one day M actually has a state, and this state actually wants to separate from M, right? And this state or this new country is called S, right? And what S does is that they are very efficient in their port services. They offer port services, right? And there is a high demand for these services, right? And with that, we can see a lot of foreign investments going into S. On top of that, after they have became quite good at port services, right now they are also offering financial services. And with that, even more money keeps flowing into S, right? So basically, what helps a currency strengthen is the demand for that particular currency, right? So if we were to compare M and S, right, at one time both M and S, they used to have the same value for the currency. For every one M, you get one S, or for every one S, you get one M. But that being said, as time goes on, with more and more foreign investments going into S, what happens is that their currency appreciates, right? And as more and more foreign investments go inside, their currency becomes a little bit more expensive. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people from M opts to actually work in S, right? Where the currency is a little bit stronger, right? So long story short, right? What actually affects a currency, or what actually helps a currency strengthen, is the demand for a particular currency. When the demand is stronger for a particular currency, you can see that currency appreciating. While how a currency depreciates or how a currency devalues, right, is when there is less and less people demanding for that particular currency, right? So the next thing we are going to is, why does this matter? Why does the ringgit strengthening or weakening, why does it really matter to the layman on the street, both you and me, basically, right? So like I said, right, every time when the demand of the currency appreciates, right, when the demand of the currency actually increases, the currency will appreciate, right? So basically, what actually impacts a currency is FDI, or when foreigners come to invest over in Malaysia, right? So if foreigners come over to Malaysia to invest, the demand for the currency increases and our currency becomes more valuable, right? So like I said, if the currency actually devalues, right, or it becomes weaker and weaker, it could be foreigners are pulling out from our country, right? So how this actually impacts the man on the street like you and me, right, is basically this, right? If the currency gets weaker, there could be a chance that uh, our investors or our foreign investors are not interested to actually enter into Malaysia. So when new foreign investors are not interested to come into Malaysia, basically there are less jobs in the market. So when there's less jobs in the market, this is where it will impact both you and me. Assuming right now, if you want to find jobs, assuming right now, if you want to find jobs, right, it's very difficult to find jobs, right? And let us say right now, if investors start leaving the country, that is a very scary situation. And we could see that there were maybe a manufacturing company which left the country already, and they have been in the country for about 15 years. So it's a bit scary, right? So aside from that, if the currency weakens, what tends to happen is that when we want to import products, it gets more expensive, right? And that is one of the reasons why, if we look at things around us, especially imported items, you will see that it has increased in price. So every time when the currency depreciates, right, there is two impacts. Number one, it could be investors leaving the country. Number two, it could be investors not interested to invest in Malaysia. And the third, it could also, and the third impact is that if our currency weakens, for us to import, it'll be more expensive. So our cost of living will increase, right? But on the flip side, this is the pros of the currency weakening, basically, right? If our ringgit gets weaker, basically when we export our products, it will get cheaper, right? So last time, let us say someone in, like in the United States, with our currency getting weaker and weaker, right? So before this, they could maybe buy palm oil for maybe $1. But if our currency keeps on weakening, maybe for $1 right now, you can buy maybe 1.5 units of palm oil, right? So that's the benefit. And this will help spur the export, right? From Malaysia, right? So it's all not, it's so with the weakening of the currency, it's all not bad news and it's all not good news, right? But all in all, right, as working individuals like you and me and individuals that actually go and maybe buy stuff, every once in a while we will go shopping, right? And every once in a while we probably buy maybe an apples which come from America, or maybe some gadgets, right? So this may impact us in that sense basically, right? So so I just want to say that overall, when the currency, or when there was a report with regards to the Malaysian ringgit dropping to 4.98, right? That was already rebutted by the Central Bank of Malaysia, and it was published in the newspaper, right? And right now, the actual currency right now, as the time of this recording, is 4.7045, right? According to Google, right? Aside from that, I talked a little bit about what actually drives the currency to become weaker, and also what drives the currency to become stronger, right? And finally, I talked a little bit about how the currency will impact both you and me, right? And why a lot of people have been talking about the currency, and why a lot of people have been talking about FDI. If you notice the news right now, they're only talking about two things. Number one is the strength of our currency, and number two is with regards to the FDI. And I already explained the relation between the two, right? So if our currency strengthens, basically there is more investors coming into the country, and with more investors coming into the country, that means more economic activities. And when there's more economic activities, that basically means there are more jobs in the country. While if a currency gets weaker, the opposite is happening right now. So I guess that's one of the reasons why this is a very popular topic. And again, if you guys have any questions, please put it down in the comment section. The next couple of videos, I'm going to cover a little bit about, how to actually make some money from the stock market, right? And this time I'm going to talk a little bit in, Bahasa, as some of my friends have been asking me to make some videos on how to invest in this market. So stay tuned. And with that, take care, guys.